Hello and welcome, everyone. We're really glad that you're able to join us via Zoom here tonight. I'm glad you're able to stay inside on this stormy evening that we're having. But thanks again for being a part of our Rising Freshman Curriculum Night. And welcome for the first time to the class of 2028. We're so glad you're with us. My name is Ashley Schwartzbeck. For those of you who don't know me, I am very, very proud to be the principal here at East Lansing High School. Tonight, we are really going to give you a broad overview of some of the programs and academic opportunities that you'll have or your student will have while they're a student here at East Lansing High School with us. We're going to make it an amazing 4 years with them. And we really want to give you an opportunity to just see a forward view of a lot of the things that we have to offer. So tonight we're going to look at scheduling processes. You're going to start scheduling within the next few weeks with your counselor at McDonald Middle School. And we'll talk about the process for what that'll look like. But we'll also really have an opportunity for some of our department leaders, curriculum chairs, as we call them, to speak about the real specifics that happen within their departments and some of the unique opportunities that we have for all of our students here. And really a little bit of an opportunity to learn more about our school as well. We'll again give you some broad overviews because we'll also have some more opportunities throughout this year to meet you and your student in person before the start of the next school year. We'll have 8th grade move up day here in just a few weeks where your students will be able to come up to the high school and tour around with some of our students and be able to really understand the environment and start getting the layout of the building. And then we'll also have freshman and new student orientation in August, which will give you and your student an opportunity to come into the building and really get their schedule, understand, and we'll review much of this at that time as well. So it's a lot of information sometimes. If you feel overwhelmed, that is 100% okay. This is being recorded. So if you're like, what did they say? You can go back and look at that again anytime if you're needing a refresher on some of those things. But the number one thing I want to communicate to you tonight is you don't have to have it all figured out yet. It's okay if you don't have the whole 4-year plan mapped out. You're going to hear a lot about a lot of different opportunities. You may think that your students' trajectory is going to go one direction, and they may surprise you with interest in another area that you want to explore in that way. And I think that's the really beautiful thing about the flexibility that we offer at the high school is that we can make plans and we can revise plans and really tailor those to what meets the best needs of your child. And so that's really what we want to be able to do tonight is have kind of a conversation with you about some of the things that we have to offer here. But again, you don't have to have it all figured out. We'll have contact information if you have deeper questions or you want more information about a particular subject or a pathway that we have to offer. And we really encourage you to start that dialogue if you have questions or just want to start having conversations with people about some specific circumstances with your child that you want us to know about before they join us here. So I've introduced myself. Again, I'm Ashley Schwartzbeck. I'm the principal here at the high school. Quiana Davis is one of our associate principals. She is not able to be here this evening, but Jeff Lampy is also one of our associate principals. I'll give him a chance to introduce himself.
Good evening, everybody. As Ms. Schwartzbeck said, my name is Jeff Lampy, and along with Ms. Davis, I'm one of the associate principals here, and we are super, super excited to meet you and to engage with your families and just to see the class of 2028 coming up this fall. So thank you for joining us tonight, and look forward to speaking to you soon. Thanks, Ms. Schwartzbeck.
Nikki Norris is our Director of Athletics and Activities. She's also not able to be here tonight. I'm sure she is frantically rearranging athletic activities as we speak with this incoming weather that we have coming in. But she is the person that you will talk to about all athletic related eligibility. If your student's interested in any type of sports teams. We also we'll talk about clubs in a little while, and Mr. Lampy and Ms. Norris partner on supporting our clubs and other activities as well. And last, a newest addition to our team is Ms. Shu. Ms. Shu, you want to kind of introduce yourself and speak to what you do here at the high school?
All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Mrs. Shu. The kids call me Mrs. Shu. I'm Mrs. Shoemake, but I prefer Mrs. Shu. I'm the Dean of Student Success here at the high school, and this is my first year. So when your students join me, hopefully I'll be settled in my job really, really well by then. But I do a lot of things at the school. I help with helping kids find their way, navigate programs at the school. But I think for our freshman students, I work with them quite a bit. And it's mainly on, how do I pass my classes? How do I get into a rhythm? And so I've worked with a lot of our freshmen doing that. So I'm sure I'll be working with your kiddos too. Thanks, Ms. Schwarzbeck.
Awesome. Thank you. So we couldn't kind of jumpstart our conversations about how we do things at ELHS without first starting with talking about Trojan True and what that means. And so Mr. Lampy is going to give us a little bit of an overview on Trojan True, what that process is. We call this our PBIS system, and it's really a foundation for how we view ourselves as Trojans here.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ms. Schwartzbeck. Yeah, as she mentioned, our Trojan True our true True is our 4 core values that we try to emulate on a daily basis at school, staff and students, and every member of our school community. You'll hear us talking about it. You'll see us wearing clothes and gear. It'll be on stickers. It'll be on posters throughout the school. You'll hear us right off the bat in the beginning of the year during new student and freshman orientation. We'll present this Trojan True value system to the kids and their families right off the bat. The T stands for trust. The R stands for respect. U stands for unity, as you can see, and then E stands for equity. And these are the 4 values that we preach throughout the school day in their 4 years here. One of the things we do as part of our PBIS reward system is we have these Trojan True referral cards. And so when a staff member catches a student emulating or representing Trojan True in the hallways, in the classroom, or wherever, they'll make a note of it on this positive postcard. They'll fill out the information. They'll put their name as the staff member recommending. And this postcard will kind of have a description of what positive behavior did that student represent in that moment. Those go into our Trojan True box in the office, where every Friday we pull out 5 to 6 students referral cards, postcards, and they receive a prize in Ms. Schwartzbeck's office. Anything from coupons, restaurant gift cards, toys, anything. We try to get a lot of really fun things for kids that they're into. Okay, that they're into, and so it's just a positive reward for representing that truth throughout the school community. These also will be sent home, so you'll see. Hopefully, you'll see. Your child receive some referral postcards in the mail that you can put up on the refrigerator and just celebrate your students. So just one of our things we wrap here is being Trojan True. Thanks so much.
Absolutely. And we really want to make sure that we're celebrating the positivity of our student body. We have so many amazing things going on, both during the school day and after. And it's just an opportunity for us to make sure that we share those positive experiences with you. So we're going to get to the kind of meat of our program tonight and start talking about academic opportunities for your students. So I am going to welcome Ms. Jakek, who is the chair of our Student Services Department.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jen Jakek, and I am a counselor here at East Lansing High School. So at the high school, we divide our counseling caseload by last name. And so as you can see here, we have the breakdown. Ms. Petros takes care of students whose last names are A through D. Mr. Behrens has E through K. I have L through R, and Ms. Koss has S through Z. And here are all of our emails as well. We also have 2 social workers at our school. Ms. Sesti is our general education social worker, and Mr. Schmay is our special education social worker. All right, so graduation requirements. This is by law what students have to graduate in the state of Michigan. So students by the end of their 4 years have to have 4 credits of math. They have to have Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2, and then they have to have an additional math credit that has to be taken in their senior year, and that can be, they do get a little bit of choice in that last year. They have to have 4 credits of English. They have to have English 1, English 2, English 3, or they can take AP Language. And then the 4th credit of English is also one that can be an elective. 3 credits of science. They have to have physical science, life science, and earth science. 3 credits of social studies, US history, world history, economics, and personal finance. I'm going to talk about that a little bit more in just a moment. And government. So what do they have to take next year? Most of your students, okay, yeah, sorry, could you go back for me there for a second? Most of your students will be taking Algebra 1, English 1, physical science, and US history. So those are the 9th grade core classes that most of your students will be taking. They also have to have 1 credit of physical education and health, 1 credit of visual, performing, and applied arts, 2 credits of the same world language. I know a lot of your students are probably taking something at the middle school. Those credits will count toward their high school credits. And then they have to have 4 additional electives that will get them to a total of 22.5. And that is actually a little bit of a change. So starting with the class of 2028, your students are going to have a half credit of personal finance. And what we're going to do there is they will get a dual credit with their economics class. And that'll be taken when they're juniors, or when they're seniors. And so for your class, 22.5 is going to be the requirement. We're still working on some final approvals, but that is what we're looking for your class. All right, so scheduling for this year. So rising 9th grade students submit course requests. And what that means is they're going to submit a list of classes that they want to take. All of that information is already posted in the class of 2028 Google Classroom. It's under the classwork tab. On Thursday, May 16th, the middle school counselors are going to go into the 8th grade classrooms and review all of the information with them, review the process with them, and then that course request feature will be enabled at 2:45 on Thursday, the 16th. One thing to know is that entering those course requests is not time sensitive. So if you get in there at 2:46 and get it in, you'll have it's the same as if you do it on the very last day. So the last day will be May 24th, and at 2:30 that's when we'll disable the feature. So at that point you will need to go in and get those requests put in for your student. And then in August, so what will happen is, over the summer, the computer will generate schedules for students. And then in August, we'll release them to the students, and they'll have an opportunity to drop and add courses, change, if they change their mind. We know kids change their mind. They'll have an opportunity to do that in August. Specific dates, we'll get those out to you as it gets closer to next school year. All right, and so this is just a breakdown of all of the classes that freshmen can take. And on the right-hand side, you can see the graduation requirements. There is that just additional 0.5 for, it starts with the class of 2028. And so and this is more informational, if you want to look at this later, classes that freshmen can take. All right, testing out. So if you are someone that maybe wants to try to get ahead a little bit in their coursework, you do have the opportunity to attempt to test out of any courses that we offer at the high school. You have to submit the request form, and the next slide I'll give you the dates with all of that, but there is a request form that you'll have to fill out. And so what that process looks like is your students are given study materials, and then they will have the summer to study for the test. They have to earn at least a 78% or higher in order to receive credit for the course. And it can be used to fulfill a requirement within a subject area or to advance into the next course in a sequence. Um, and on the transcript, that looks like credit. There's no grade, it's just students are awarded credit. We don't allow students to take the tests home. If you want to review the test, or if your student wants to review the test, you can do that with the curricular chair. You have one chance, you get one attempt to do that. And the exam has to be taken within the published dates. And like I said, on the next slide, I'll have all those dates for you. And what we do is if you want to attempt to test out of US history, let's say, we're going to put you in US history. And then if your student gets the 78 or higher, then we'll change their schedule at that time. So this is the slide that has all the dates. The submission, the form submission deadline is Monday, May 13th. The days that you can come to the high school to pick up the study materials are June 3rd through the 5th, between the hours of 8 and 11. And the test out dates are Wednesday, August 14th and Tuesday, August 20th. So your student will have to come in to take the exam on one of those 2 dates.
And again, just to clarify, test
Mhm.
outs are to test out of an entire course. So your student is basically saying that they have all the mastery of content because of some prior experience that they have with that content potentially. And so they are eliminating an entire class and earning credit for that through that test. So we're going to say that to say these tests are difficult, and they're meant to show, again, mastery of that course. And there's absolutely no pressure for a student to do that in their freshman year. It is open and available to them. I'd say it's more common for students who elect to do that in some of their upperclassmen years, but we do have freshmen that attempt test outs as well.
All right, so now some of our special programs that we offer here. We offer many AP courses. Those are advanced placement courses. These are college level courses that have very rigorous curriculum. And when you finish the course, you have the opportunity to take the AP exam and potentially earn college credit for that. We offer AP courses in every single core area, as well as fine arts and world language. Students also have the opportunity to take up to 2 courses online every year. Our online provider is Michigan Virtual High School. And so if that's something that is of interest to you, I would encourage you to reach out to me or your student's counselor, and we can kind of help you through that process. And also like I said, the counselors at the middle school will be meeting with your 8th graders to go over this information with them as well. We also offer dual enrollment for our students, and dual enrollment is taking college classes while you're still in high school. And so students have the opportunity to receive dual credit. They can receive high school credit and college credit. Typically, we recommend that students look at taking dual enrollment classes when they're in their junior and senior year. But that's a great, opportunity for your student to get some experience taking college classes while they're still in high school.
Hi, I'm Sherry Seka, and I work for I work in the summer for a program that's called High School 101. This was a new program, and we started it right when we returned from COVID. And what it is, it's for 9th graders who are interested in an early introduction to East Lansing High School. This week, it will be the week before school starts, which is August 19th through the 23rd. There are 2 different sessions. There's a morning session that runs from 9 to 11 and an afternoon session that runs from 1 to 3. Once your student is registered and they figure out their schedule and maybe their sports practices, they're allowed to switch in between the two sessions. All of our sessions are taught by East Lansing High School staff members. And right now we are tentatively planning to offer a session on getting to know East Lansing, advocacy and self-care and mental health, the graduation plans, study skills, high school core culture, and our 9th grade core classes and an introduction to our activities and clubs. We will also be walking through schedules and touring the building and really focusing on getting a layout of the building. With advance notice, which you can do when you register, we can provide transportation. We will be sending out information regarding High School 101 in the next couple of weeks, and we're asking that registration forms are turned in by July 8th. Thank you.
Thanks. We really encourage you to explore this opportunity, especially if your student has any apprehension about this building. It's a really big building, and some of that intimidation those first couple of weeks is just finding where things are and who people are. And I always feel like those students that take advantage of our High School 101 program kind of walk in the first day and feel like they kind of have this swagger of like, I know what I'm doing. You know, I have this kind of laid out. I know where my locker is. I practice my combination. You know, I have the opportunity to really go through and understand where everything is. And I know who my people are a little bit as well in terms of people that they can go to and ask questions. So it's a really great opportunity, and we encourage you to take advantage of that. And again, registration forms will be sent out in the next couple of weeks. So we are going to jump right into hearing from many of our different curricular chairs about their programs. And we're going to start with our special education department.
Hi, I'm Patty Sanchuala, the Special Education Department Chair at East Lansing High School. I'm one of 3 resource teachers at the high school. We all teach academic support classes, and we all co-teach 2 classes in general education as well. We have 2 cross-categorical resource rooms, and those classes, they teach math, English, life skills, science, and social studies within the class. And then they also have students that go out to general education classes. And they also have the Links program. We have a great program at the high school where students sit in either in the cross-categorical resource rooms, or they may accompany a student to one of their general education classes. And it's a really great program. Transition meetings are this week, so I look forward to meeting some of you. And if anybody has any questions, please use my email and I'd be happy to talk with you.
Next up is our world language department.
Hi, I'm Rachel Garris. I'm the co-chair of the World Language Department here at East Lansing High School. At East Lansing High School, we offer 3 different languages, Spanish, French, and German. And as Ms. Jakek shared with you earlier, the requirement is that students get 2 consecutive years of a language. So we get this question all the time. So can I take Spanish 1 and then German 1? And the answer is no, that doesn't fulfill your requirement. You need to reach level 2, which many students have already done at the middle school. And so those credits will transfer. We have 6 years worth of language in Spanish and French. So we go through levels 1 through 4, and then advanced placement, and then also a careers class, which is pretty cool. It's a more hands-on kind of language learning. German, we offer or levels 1 through 4, and we are looking into doing a level 5 with an AP there too. We do like to travel. That's one of the benefits of taking world language, is the ability to travel. So we take class trips almost every summer. So this summer we'll be traveling to Spain and France. The German program has an awesome exchange program that they do every other year. So yes, more questions on travel, let us know. And I think that's it for me.
Next up is our math department.
Hi there, I'm Maggie Moore. I am not the department chair, but Jeff Burgess and I work very closely together, so I'm here in his place tonight. A couple things about the math department and programming at East Lansing High School. Your course for next year depends kind of entirely on what you're taking this year. If your student is currently completing 8th grade math, then next year your student will take Algebra 1. If your student is currently enrolled in our Advanced Algebra 1 course at McDonald Middle School, their options are twofold. Your student could opt into on-level geometry, which is a course that will feel more like the on-level classes at McDonald Middle School. So 7th grade math, 8th grade math, more exploration, homework, more typical with what you saw in 6th and 7th grade math. If your student decides to enroll into accelerated geometry, a pace and rigor will feel similar to what they're experiencing this year with Advanced Algebra 1. We try to foster independence as our students explore these topics. Definitely the workload is a little bit more at home, but again, it will feel similar to what you're experiencing this year in that Advanced Algebra 1 course. I think the main thing is really that we just trust your 8th grade math teachers, trust their recommendation. They have worked with you this year. They know the different options at the high school. We work really closely with Miss Busby and Miss Jones. So feel free to reach out if you have any questions for us. But in terms of next year, we're really going to trust those 8th grade math teachers. Moving forward, you can see our flow chart. It's kind of an atypical flow chart. If you look at other surrounding high schools' math department flow chart, we at East Lansing feel that students mature into their mathematical abilities at different times. So rather than just kind of lock in at a young level, we like to offer the opportunity to take some risks, accelerate, decelerate where you need to. This flowchart can look a little overwhelming, but every year we really just try to work with your students, all the math department, to make sure that they are set up for success. Also seeing new maturity as it arises. So if you have any questions, reach out to Jeff Burgess or myself. Happy to help.
Thank you. Next up is the English department.
Hi again. I'm Sherry Seika, and I am the chair of the English department. Your freshman student will have the opportunity to enroll in either English 1 or Accelerated English 1. If your student tests out and they're successful and they earn a 78% or higher, they'll be placed in English 2 or Accelerated English 2, depending on which class they selected during the test out procedure. The big difference between English 1 and Accelerated English 1, they both focus on literature, writing, and a speech focus. However, in English 1, most of the novels will be read together and during our English class periods. Students in English 1 will have homework 2 to 3 times per week for 15 to 20 minutes, whereas in the accelerated courses, the novels are all read independently, and they read additional novels, and they move at an accelerated pace. Therefore, homework is a little bit more prevalent. They could anticipate homework 3 to 4 times a week for a larger chunk of time, depending on how much reading is needed or required for the evening. And in 10th grade, they can take English 2 or Accelerated English 2, and it's kind of the same philosophy as the math class. Once a student can move up into the accelerated classes or remain in the on-level classes as they progress through the different years. As for electives for the English or for 9th grade students, we have yearbook and journalism, and they're both open for freshman students. However, freshmen rarely take, or sometimes they take the electives, but their schedule is pretty full by just taking the basics. We also have one support English class, and it's a combination between Read 180 and it's blocked with our English 1 class. And again, like the math department, I'm going to say, lean into your 8th grade English teacher, and they will be able to help your student make the decision that's best for them. The number one thing I'm going to say, it's really important that your students are balanced. All accelerated classes can make for a very challenging schedule. On the next slide, it's just a list of the different electives and kind of our course sequence as you go through the years 9 through 12 and what's available. If you have any questions, again, my name is Sherry Seika. You can email me or reach out and I am available. Thank you.
Now we welcome our science department.
There we go. I finally got myself unmuted. I knew there would be a problem. I'm Geraldine Jackson. I'm the science chair at East Lansing High School. We don't have many choices for freshman year. Physical sciences are required for that year. And then you can see we start to open up into APs and electives that can be chosen along with their 3 requireds, which are the physical science, the life science, and the earth and space science. Okay, I'm going to go to the next slide, and everyone's always looking for some alternative pathways, and these are some of the ways that your student can move forward in their science pathway if they are motivated to try to get as much science in as possible while they're in the high school. They can test out, and if your student tests out of physical science, they may then take life science or AP Physics 1. If the prerequisites are met, they can double up on science. So they can take the AP Physics in addition to physical science if they have the mathematics prerequisites. They can meet with their counselor for a personal curriculum. I speak for my department when I say that it's strongly recommended that students take at least 4 science courses at the high school level for college admissions. And we also really highly recommend our 3 requireds, because along with content knowledge, they are also learning about the different types of things that scientists do in the real world. So the courses are slightly different than they used to be, and your students will gain a lot of needed skills as they move through them. Prerequisites for everything are listed in the course description book. And if you have any questions for me, please reach out, and my email is on the screen. Thank you very much.
Next up is our social studies department.
Hi, everyone. My name is Julie Barrage, and I'm the chair of the Social Studies Department. Welcome to East Lansing High School. We're really excited to get to know your kids. Our scope and sequence you can see here on the slide. 9th grade is pretty simple. There really aren't a lot of choices. It's U.S. history or AP U.S. history. Sometimes students try to take a test to pass out of U.S. history, and as Ms. Schwartzbeck was saying, it's really difficult to pass. It does not happen very often, but if a student still has an option, or the student still has an option to take the AP if you're interested in an accelerated option. So the question that I think is most commonly asked for our department at this point in the process is, what is the difference between U.S. history and AP U.S. history? So Ms. Schwartzbeck, if you could change the slide. The U.S. history course, the on-level U.S. history course, just picks up where they're going to leave off in 8th grade. So it's about half of the scope of the timeline of U.S. history. And AP U.S. history goes back and covers the entire timeline of U.S. history. Both of these will meet the graduation requirements. In the AP course, I mean, it is a college level course, and it is for students who are ready to really embrace a rigorous class. I would suggest when you talk with your students about whether or not they want to take the US or the AP US, if they have just a general interest in history, that's my first suggestion. Obviously, it takes a strong work ethic, but if you don't really love the subject, it's going to feel like a lot of work. So I think that Eighth grade teachers can be helpful. I teach the AP course, so if you have any questions more specifically, you're welcome to email me. But this is just, I mean, it's night and day as far as the level of rigor and the expectation for homework, as far when you compare it to the on-level US history course. At the end of this course, the students can take an AP exam to see if they can earn any college credit for this course. And so that's an opportunity that doesn't affect their grade in class. It's not a requirement to take this class, but it is an opportunity. So other than that, I invite you to email me if you have any additional questions. But as I said, it's pretty straightforward for the social studies department for ninth grade.
All right, Miss Millard is our chair of our visual arts department and a really fabulous teacher within it. Unfortunately, she is not able to be here tonight, so you are going to get kind of the not as good version from me. But the great thing about our visual arts program is that it's really comprehensive in both 2D and 3D, as well as having beginning, intermediate, and advanced classes. So we have a lot of options for our students to be able to take. I'm going to focus more on the beginning classes. For 2D, freshmen have the opportunity to take drawing 1, painting 1, watercolor, or photography. And then 3D, ceramic, sculpture, and fiber arts. Again, those we've got 2 different kind of disciplinaries from the 2-dimensional and the 3-dimensional art. So it really comes down to what your student is most interested in. I know from hearing Ms. Millard talk many years on this, drawing 1 is really a great foundation for students, no matter what type of art class that they are going into. And so drawing 1 is really a good recommendation for anyone. One thing I'd just add with our art program in general is that our art classes are very, very popular. And so even if your student is not able to either fit one of these classes into their schedule, or some of these classes are full, they still have a lot of opportunities to take them within their high school career, and to be able to move on to more intermediate and advanced classes. We do offer advanced placement in art, both 2D and 3D, and they're able to earn college credit for those as well. Again, these are 2 classes recommended for freshmen, drawing 1 and photography. And so drawing 1 becomes really the foundation of many of our upper level art classes. And photography is just a really, really fun class that students love to take, really high level of engagement, and starts to spark some of that interest and may hook kids into really looking at other digital media classes. We offer graphic design, also both our portrait and our cine ad, so our yearbook and our newspaper. We have a lot of really amazing photographers that are involved in that as well. So it's a really great fresh class to get freshmen started. Painting and watercolor are also open to freshmen, and you see the descriptions there. And then ceramics 1, sculpture, and fiber arts, again, open to freshmen. There may not be space in these classes available, but there definitely will be an opportunity for you to request those. And if space is available, we'll be able to schedule your students into those. These 3D classes use a lot of different materials between clay. Fiber arts uses a lot of yarn and fabric. So they're very medium heavy classes that students are able to kind of explore what different types of mediums they enjoy working with. And it's very student driven in that way. All right, our performing arts department.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Dave Larzalier. I'm the band director at East Lansing and also the chair of the performing arts department. Welcome to East Lansing High School. As not only a parent of a student and also an incoming 9th grader and also an alumni, I'm really proud to be a teacher and community member here in East Lansing, so welcome. Just as a reminder, your student is expected to have 1 credit of fine arts, which would include either a visual art class or a performing art class. If your student is already in 8th grade band, orchestra, or choir, we encourage them to continue on in those programs. As you can see, in each of those programs, there's different ability levels as they continue to grow and learn as musicians. the material gets more advanced as they get older. Those are determined by auditions that I think the band and orchestra have already completed. So that's just, if you have a kid already in that, you're kind of already through that process. If you have a student that is not in the band, orchestra, or choir programs, but would like to take a performing arts class, the ensembles or the classes that will meet those requirements are our Piano 1 class. Again, like Ms. Schwartzbeck said, that's also a very popular class. So if they don't get it their freshman year, it's something that they can probably take as they get older. And that same goes for our theater class. There's a Theater 1 and a Theater 2 advanced class that students can advance to. And again, those classes are also popular. So if they don't get them as freshmen, there's a chance that they could take them as they go through the high school process. So if you have any questions about any of these things, please feel free to reach out. And again, welcome. I look forward to meeting your students soon. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Kevin Mays. I am the chair for the ELHS Applied Technology Department. I also teach Introduction to Computer Science, AP Computer Science Principles, and CAD. We've broken these 3 slides down for you in a couple areas. Even though these are just recommendations, we do frequently have freshmen and sophomores in a couple other classes, and they are very successful. So this is more of a recommendation. Over the last 4 or 5 years, the department has really grown. And so as we continue to move on, look to add additional classes, we're trying to create a recommended flow as you go through our department. As they're coming in, we have a couple 1-semester classes, Introduction to Computer Science. That's 1 semester of HTML, 1 semester of JavaScript. Great way to get into computer science and give it a test drive. Then we have Tech Essentials that gives you a little bit of AI, introduction to some basic robotics, and some pretty fun hands-on challenges. Those would be the first ones that we'd recommend you to if you can get into those. If you move on to that next slide. There are quite a few freshmen that also will take computer-aided drafting, introduction to robotics, and engineering technology. The classes that we have quite a few freshmen through juniors in a lot of our classes. So even though these are recommendations, if one of your kids maybe did some things with Miss Knox at the middle school or was involved in robotics and is super excited about robotics or has no experience, really wants to do robotics, they are welcome to join those classes as well. Those are not limited. Now, as they go through their high school experience, we still have a couple more classes left. As they round it out, we are now up to 2 AP classes, and you can really look at them in 1 of 2 ways. Our Introduction to Computer Science Principles is meant to be the springboard for these kids if they don't have much of a background in computer science. AP Computer Science Principles is meant to be a transition between an intro class and APA, which is all Java and all coding. So if you have a student and they're going through high school and they really like computers, I have a sophomore right now in my AP Computer Science principles class who's one of my best students. So that is, as far as AP classes goes, it's a little bit easier than APA. I would not want very many students taking AP Computer Science A until they are definitely a junior or senior. Once again, as you're looking at all these classes, it's just a recommended flow. Mr. Smith is the other teacher, and he frequently, just like myself, has 9th through 11th or even 9th through 12th in the same class. Freshmen are still, we try to build the classes so that they have the ability to try out these different topics and find what they like. And then they can build on it from there. So just as you look at these recommendations, if your child really likes the idea of working with CAD and doing laser engraving or 3D printing or robotics, they don't have to feel like they have to wait if it fits their schedule. Any questions at all, please reach out, kevin.mays@elps.us. Look forward to seeing your kids this fall.
Hello, everybody. My name is Mark Pendred, and I'm in the curricular chair for the physical education department. We've got, as you heard earlier, for physical education, you've got a semester of physical education and a semester of health for graduation. It is recommended that you take it your freshman year. The other classes that we have offered, one of the misconceptions that there's always I get questions about is, will, say, for example, lifetime fitness count as a physical education credit to graduate? And it does not. So The regular physical education class is the one that's required for graduation. The other ones that we have offered are just electives. And that's really about it. And so if you have any questions, you reach out. My email is there, and I appreciate you coming tonight.
Ms. Schwartzbeck, I think you can unmute. Yep, I think you need to unmute yourself. There you go.
So before this started, I reminded everyone to unmute before they started, and I made a joke that I would probably forget, and that just I jinxed myself. So I'll speak briefly about our ESL and ELL programs. If your student is an English language learner or receives some support in those areas, we absolutely do offer support classes in that. We have our English learner language arts class, which is a 1.0 English credit, and also an English language learner academic support classes. And so depending on the level of support that your student needs, that is available to them. And we actually have an old email address on there. So Katarine Durant is the ESL teacher also at the middle school and the high school, and she'd be the one to reach out to if you have any questions about ELL support, and we'll make sure we update that email address as well.
Hi, everyone.
Next up, go ahead. Yep, speak just briefly about our social justice programming.
Hi, everyone. I'm Diana Sanchez. I am actually a Spanish teacher at East Lansing High School. I've also taught at the middle school as well. But I am our social justice team leader at the high school, and I also work with not only our staff members around social justice issues, but also students. So I am a co-advisor for our social justice club, which is a continuation of the social justice club that they have at McDonald Middle School. If any of your students are involved, one of the biggest things that we feel like has come out of our last several years in education is trying to promote critical thinking for our students. And so there are many spaces in addition to our classrooms that students can build on self-advocacy and think about the social justice issues that impact our school the most. So I mostly just wanted to come on and show my face, because I feel like kids will see me throughout the year and then get to know some of the different student groups that I help with. One of our other groups that we have at the high school is our Students for Gender Equality. So depending on what kind of issues your student might be passionate about, this would be a great club for them to join. I also want to be sure to mention that one of our probably most amazing programs, I think, for after school for our students are affinity spaces. So we do have a Black student union, a Latinx student union, an Asian student union, and a Muslim student association. And while we would love to have some of these clubs be more popular at our middle school, we feel like this is one of the highlights of our high school for students to be able to come up and find these spaces where they can connect with students, particularly based on common identities. So if there's any particular issues that your students are particularly excited about when it comes to social justice, these would be awesome spaces for them to enter, and you all can reach out to me with any questions you have.
Thanks, Ms. Sanchez. So we're going to talk just briefly about transitioning to the high school. Again, we're going to really have other opportunities to discuss this with your students when they come for 8th grade move-up day, when hopefully you guys come together for our new student orientation in August. But then we'll also have class meetings at the beginning of next year to talk about these things as well. So Mr. Lampy is going to start off just talking a little bit about technology use and expectations.
Hello again. I'll be brief here. I just wanted to touch base about some technology use expectations. As you can expect, we are our district-wide. We provide our technology department provides one-to-one computer. Each student is provided a Chromebook on day one when they get here, and they get to take this Chromebook home, and they are responsible keeping it safe at home. And I'll skip down to the third bullet where it says damages and replacements. They're also responsible for any damages and replacements of that Chromebook. So it is one of our things we provide for our students, the resources, and they have the responsibility of kind of taking care of that Chromebook and making sure it goes with them to school, to their classes, and goes home with them safely. So one of the programs that each Chromebook there's each program has a filter system called Securely, and the students what this does is Securely is a filtering program to keep kids safe. And what happens is this program will alert admin of any concerning words or phrases or any searches that a student might search that might be alarming. That we'll get an email. It could be something to do with mental health. And we'll be noted of this search, and a lot of times I'll go to the student and ask the student what's going on. Sometimes the search is with a project and everything's okay, but there comes times where we have to check in with the kid and also with the parent just to keep them accountable and also to make sure the kid is safe and healthy on all around. So we're very fortunate for this program. It's part of our technology policy, and so that is also a filtering system that we have each Chromebook is prepared with. Speaking of the technology policy, we have an agreement between the students and the district. Is the policy the kids sign once they receive their Chromebook that first week, and it's just to keeps kids safe online. Our expectation is that they explore the digital world, as part of their education and privilege, and instead of accessing inappropriate or harmful sites. So to keep kids safe, we have them sign a technology policy. And there are consequences if they do breach that policy or that agreement. The phone policy, this was probably one of the most beneficial policies we began the year off this year with. I would say we've had some just great feedback from all staff all around. I know at the middle school, the students are familiar with, not having their phones at all in the building at all from the time they enter and the time they leave. We have a policy a little bit different with a little bit more freedom built in, but they are not allowed to use them in the classroom from bell to bell. So once they enter the classroom and the bell goes on, their phone has to be inside their backpack or in their pants or wherever they have it secured in a way so it's not a distraction. If a staff member in the classroom or in the hallway during instructional time sees the phone, we'll just ask them for the phone, and the phone will go to the main office and they can pick the phone up at the end of the day. So it's bell to bell. Once the bell rings, they can use their phone in the hallway when they're passing to the next class. They can use their phone during lunches, and then they can use their phone on Excel days, Tuesdays and Thursdays. During that Excel hour, that's between second and third hour, they're able to use their phone. So a little bit more freedom with their phones, but we really value our instructional time here at the high school, and we have A+, the best staff in the world, the best teachers in the world, and so we want our kids dialed in, locked in during that instruction, and so that phone needs to be put away. High school social media. Social media has changed the way students interact, and many of the negative behaviors we see in school have migrated away from face-to-face interactions and now take place on social media. As adults, we're often unaware of social media that our students and children use, and teens are skilled at only let us sometimes see what they want us to see. So our school policy and in case though are having a hard time keeping up with technology, do your best to kind of stay on top of your child's social media habits. We're happy to partner with you, but there are times when we can help and times we can. There's a parent partnership that we hope to kind of create with our students as we kind of work together with parents. We can't solve everything alone. So thanks so much for helping us with this.
As part of that, as your student has more interaction with the online world, we also know that they see things before we see them oftentimes if there's something that concerning that happens. And so we always try to take every opportunity to remind students of their option to use okay to say. We love direct student communication as well, and try to keep those really confidential. So students can always reach out to an administrator if they have a concern about something. But if they want that to be private, or if that's happening at a time when they feel like they really need some immediate help because there's a safety issue with another student, or there's just something really concerning going on, they always have the option to use okay to say as well. Okay to say is run by this Michigan State Police, and they are able to partner with us to be able to really just to have an opportunity for students to report things anonymously, and also to if needed, get to us in an after hours way if there's a really imminent concern of something that's happening. Finally, we want to just talk generally about tips for success in high school. And again, we will talk more and more about this as we get closer to the start of next year. But the biggest thing that we think about when students are transitioning from 8th grade to 9th grade is the idea that college or high school classes count, and an account in a way of credits. You've heard a lot of things about credits tonight, and accruing credits over the course of their 4 years matters, which is such a change for students who haven't been used to that system, kind of in that K8 experience that they've had. So the biggest thing for you to start talking with your student about is how credits matter and how that grade of getting a passing grade matters. And not just passing, but also building a GPA. If they have plans for college or post-secondary opportunities that they want to explore, 9th grade is really the time to start exploring those ideas. No one needs to be locked in on what they want to do after high school, but they should start really exploring some of those ideas so that they can start connecting the actions that they have now to the goals that they have after high school. Why am I, maybe taking this more challenging class? Because it connects with this post-secondary goal. I want to, go into the medical field. And so I want to make sure that I'm getting that, it's 4 years of science, as Ms. Jackson mentioned. And so those are things that we really encourage you to start talking and start having conversations with your student about. There's no, again, pressure to decide anything their freshman year at 14 about what they're going to do. You don't have to be locked in. I would encourage you to kind of encourage some flexibility with your student to be able to think about different options. But it's really, really helpful when a student starts to have some ideas about what life after high school might start looking like for them, so that can start impacting their actions that they have here with us. Time management is a really huge part of what we're trying to impart with our students, especially in their freshman year. Prioritization of assignments and classes and really managing that time well. We do, if your student really particularly struggles with organization, time management, and assignment completion and things like that, we do offer 2 support classes in the freshman year. You heard about one already in Read 180, which is more of an English support class, but also in Freshman Seminar. Freshman Seminar is a class that's open to incoming 9th grade students that helps with organization, time management, and advocacy skills for our students. Students, as Mr. Lampy said, are going to have a Chromebook with them for the first time, and they will have access to student email. We send a lot to our students' email. They are starting to become more responsible for their educational opportunities, and we will send things directly to them. We always try to include parents and send things to you as well, but they need to be checking their student email because they may have emails from teachers or may have emails from the school about opportunities that they may have. They're going to have to start paying attention to kind of syllabi and rubrics. They're going to have 6 different classes that have 6 sometimes different expectations. We try to keep some things consistent across the building, but from teacher to teacher, there will be different expectations, and really digging into making sure that they know what those expectations are for each class. And so overall, Ms. Seika said earlier better than I can kind of say it, is we encourage you to think about the balance of life for your whole child, to think about the opportunities that they want to explore, and to really make sure that those match with their interests and maximize those interests to make sure that they're as engaged as possible in school. There's no competition between students or families, no matter what your kind of neighbor or cousin or older child has done. It doesn't matter. Think about the student that you have coming in their freshman year, and start thinking about a pathway that makes the most sense to them. And then we'll help build supports around them to make sure that they're as successful as possible. Finally, we're going to talk just briefly about some clubs and opportunities that we have here at the high school.
All right. That last tip for success, I can't think of something even more important than just getting connected right off the bat. But having a sense of community is so important for all kids and staff members in our school. And so we want our kids to get connected. There's so many opportunities to get connected. I know Mr. Larzalier spoke about the music and just really a renowned program that we have and throughout in the state. Our visual arts program, our theater, our slam dunk performance of Mamma Mia, this spring musical. There are a wide range of athletic teams to get involved in if they're interested in sports. And then we have clubs. We have 43 clubs that are active, anything from rock climbing, chess, archery, science Olympiad, Black Student Union, Latinx. You know, there's just so many options for kids from every interest, every corner of the school. And so, you know, and that's something that to mention would be Club Rush. Club Rush is a time in the first couple weeks of September where kids during lunches, kids can go up to different tables and see what clubs, all clubs are represented, and see what the club's about, talk to their advisors, sign up for some to get on their list to get some info and potentially join something that interests them. So I can't you know, say more about just being connected to a community is so important. And you'll get a chance to meet our phenomenal Director of Athletics and Activities, Miss Norris, once you arrive here too, and in the early fall too. So that's that. Thanks, Ms. Respect.
My favorite club, if I'm allowed to have one this year, was Charcuterie Club, mostly because they let us eat their yummy snacks when they were building their charcuterie board. So really, there is a club for anything.
I have to also mention Squirrel Club. Squirrel Club is a brand new one this year. If you have a passion for squirrels, okay?
Important dates, just so that you have them there. We've mentioned them a couple of times. 8th grade move up day is May 22nd, where 8th grade teachers will be bringing over students. They'll be walking up here from McDonald, and they will have the morning with us. They'll stay actually through lunch and have lunch with us as well. We will have upperclassmen on hand to lead some tours. And we'll also be speaking directly with students about some of the opportunities that we talked about tonight, but really what it means to be a Trojan and give them their first opportunities to start understanding and exploring our building. And then freshman and new student orientation, mark your calendars, August 21st. It is that morning as well, and we will send out information. Students will have their schedules and have an opportunity to walk around and find out where their classes are specifically. They'll have their locker combination at that point and assignment. It's a really good opportunity. We meet first in the auditorium and speak collectively to both our students and our families about, you know, what life is like here at the high school and some expectations that we have. But really then a lot of it becomes self-paced, just to be able to move around the building and make sure that you feel very comfortable for your first day of school. So these are all of the emails that we have shown throughout the slide, just in case you need to contact anyone. Again, our contact information for administration was there on the front page. We are going to send out this presentation itself. That way they have clickable links along with the video recording. If you ever want to review anything else. And as we said multiple times tonight, please reach out if you have questions. We'd love to be able to just connect with you about your student. And if you've got any concerns or anxieties about their transition to high school, start partnering with you now. So hope you have a great night, and we really appreciate you joining us. Thank you.